the smelly smell. The smelly smell that smells smelly. Anchovies.
What?
Anchovies!
The Meep fish. At first glance, they seem like nothing more than background noise in the vibrant and whimsical underwater world of SpongeBob SquarePants. But if you've been paying attention, really paying attention, you'll notice something unsettling about these creatures. Unlike Bikini Bottom's more familiar inhabitants, the Meep fish operate with a strange, almost supernatural precision. They're not just mindless anchovies. Oh no, my friend. The Meep fish are something far more sinister. Cultic shape-shifting, possessed anchovies with the ability to hijack the minds of other fish. Let's dive deep, pun intended, into the biology, behavior, and otherworldly abilities of these aquatic enigmas. Let's start with the basics. The Meep fish closely resemble anchovies in appearance, round bodies, gaping mouths, and those ever-watchful, glassy eyes. The key difference lies in their vocalization. While anchovies in earlier episodes, like Help Wanted, emit unintelligible chirps or screams en masse, the Meep fish exclusively chant Meep. This linguistic shift might seem innocuous, but it signals something far darker, an evolution of intent. What's the Meep? Linguists might dismiss it as nonsense, but psychologists know better. The repetitiveness of Meep is hypnotic, almost chant-like. It's not just a noise, it's a signal. Think about cults in human history. They often employ chants, mantras, and repetitive phrases to establish control over their followers. The Meep fish's unwavering dedication to this single sound suggests a shared purpose, one that transcends individuality. They are not speaking to communicate. They are invoking. The gaping mouth. Anchovies typically open their mouths wide as they feed on plankton, filtering water through their gills. But the Meep fish seem to have no interest in feeding. Their mouths are perpetually open, frozen in an unnerving gape. Could this anatomical quirk be tied to their possession? Perhaps their open mouths are not for feeding, but for transmitting the Meep sound, a noise that seems to operate as both a form of communication and a weaponized signal. The glowing eyes. Anchovies' eyes are usually dull and reflective, like any other fish's. The Meep fish, however, have an eerie, glassy quality to their gaze, as if they're not just observing but absorbing. Their eyes almost seem to glimmer with an unnatural light, suggesting that they are not entirely organic. Could this be a result of their possession? It's as if they've become vessels for a greater, more malevolent power. Swarming behavior. Anchovies naturally form schools for protection, moving in synchronized waves to confuse predators. The Meep fish, however, take this behavior to an unsettling extreme. Their movements are too coordinated, almost mechanical. Unlike natural schooling, which has minor imperfections, the Meep fish act as if controlled by a singular hive mind. This level of synchronization hints at a shared consciousness, likely the result of their cultic possession. The power of Meep, a biological weapon. The word Meep is the most iconic feature of these fish, but it's not just a meaningless sound. The Meep fish use it as a tool, a weapon, and perhaps even a form of biological communication far more advanced than any other creature in Bikini Bottom. Hypnotic properties. In SpongeChovy, SpongeBob and Patrick initially dismiss the incessant Meep as annoying background noise. But as the episode progresses, it becomes clear that the sound has a cumulative effect. Its repetition creates a trance-like state, wearing down the listener's defenses. This could indicate that the Meep fish produce sound waves that interfere with the neurological processes of other creatures, making them more susceptible to suggestion or outright possession. Frequency manipulation. The meep sound is always the same pitch and tone, suggesting that the fish have evolved to produce a specific frequency. Scientists have theorized that certain sound frequencies can influence brainwaves, inducing states of calm, agitation, or even hypnosis. Could the meep fish have biologically adapted to exploit this phenomenon? Their meep may not be a random noise, but a precisely tuned signal designed to disrupt mental processes. Vocal coordination. The way the meep fish chant meep in unison is deeply unsettling. In nature, even the most synchronized animal groups, like birds or frogs, have slight variations. The meep fish, however, are eerily perfect. This suggests that their sound production is controlled by a central force, possibly tied to their possession or hive mind structure. Possession, the ultimate weapon. Let's talk about the elephant or anchovy in the room. The meep fish's ability to possess and control other creatures. In SpongeChovy, we see the sheer scale of their invasion as they overrun the Krusty Krab. But their true power lies not in their numbers, but in their ability to overwhelm the minds of others. Possession in the animal kingdom isn't unheard of. Consider the parasitic fungus cordyceps, which infects insects and controls their behavior. The meep fish may operate on a similar principle, using their chant as a form of infection to override the nervous systems of their victims. Once exposed to the meep for long enough, a creature's willpower seems to deteriorate, leaving them vulnerable to manipulation. Many marine creatures release pheromones to influence the behavior of others. The meep fish might secrete a neurochemical agent that, when combined with their hypnotic chant, disrupts the brain's natural processes. Shapeshifting, the final evolution. One of the most chilling aspects of the meep fish is their apparent ability to shapeshift. And their numbers seem to multiply endlessly. But where do they all come from? There's a compelling theory that the meep fish are not born but created. The meep fish may possess the ability to mimic the appearance of other species, blending into their surroundings until it's time to strike. This would explain why they resemble anchovies so closely. By disguising themselves as a familiar and harmless species, they can infiltrate Bikini Bottom without arousing suspicion. Their shapeshifting could also be a result of their possession. Once a creature succumbs to the meep fish's influence, their body may undergo physical changes to align with the hive mind. This would explain the rapid expansion of the meep fish swarm in SpongeChovy. Every new recruit becomes another identical meep machine. So, what do the meep fish want? If they are possessed, shape-shifting anchovies with hive mind capabilities, what's their ultimate goal? The meep fish may be servants of a greater entity, an ancient underwater deity who grants them their abilities in exchange for unwavering devotion. Their meep chant could be a ritualistic invocation, a way to summon this being from the ocean's depths. Total domination. By assimilating other creatures into their hive mind, the meep fish could slowly take over Bikini Bottom, one victim at a time. Their synchronized movements and collective intelligence would make them nearly unstoppable once their numbers reach a critical mass. The meep fish are not just a quirky gag in SpongeBob SquarePants. They are a biological anomaly, a cultic force, and a terrifying glimpse into the darker side of Bikini Bottom. Their hypnotic chant, hive mind behavior, and possession abilities make them one of the most formidable threats in the show's universe. So, the next time you hear meep, don't take it lightly. It's not just a sound, it's a warning.